show. That's right. Welcome back, folks, it is time for Notre Dame's offense to win the big game against a really good defense on a big stage edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, thanks for being here. You can find a program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Get a video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny Boy out as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. If you don't want to see my face, nobody blames you for that. How do you think I feel for 40 years? Whoop! Buzz, your girlfriend, woof. John, the mirror, woof. Call-in lines, 312-988-15. Dial it up, tell Uncle Yanni all you've heard and seen. Notre Dame Fighting Irish brought to you by Sports Illustrated. Read about it every single day of your life. We got articles, good team over there. Patreon.com/Always Irish. He the former captain, he the leading tech. It's Mike Goolsby and myself breaking it all down with the dose of Jared Clark on the offense. Promo code NDCFP. Get yourself a discount as we go along this Notre Dame playoff journey that hopefully goes a few more weeks. All right. Welcome in. Welcome back. What's going on? I hope you had a good holiday season. I already mentioned now, Christmas being in the middle of all this Notre Dame stuff messed me up. I don't want to be rude, but you're just thinking about Notre Dame, Indiana, and then it's like, oh, yeah, and then there's Christmas a couple days later. It just felt weird. We made it through that. Now comes a bigger challenge in Georgia, obviously. I want you to think back to recent big games. By big, I mean like the biggest games you could have. Playoff games with Kelly. Both Freeman, Ohio State games, Kelly's Georgia games. I'm talking about the biggest of the big, where you're going against good teams, good defenses, the biggest of the big. Everybody watching. Everybody watching. Now think about the build up to those games. I know if you're here, I know all you guys were watching YouTube videos, reading articles, all that stuff. What was all of the Notre Dame media types, including me, saying heading into all these games? Doody. All right, here's the answer. For ND to win these games, Notre Dame's defense has to be absolutely lights out. You need a couple breaks, a special teams play, and then you cross your little Irish leprechaun fingers that maybe, just maybe, if you do all that, the offense can score just enough to let you win. That's been the narrative for all of these moments where you knew damn well as a Notre Dame fan, your offense was not going to be able to do the job. And you had to be perfect in all these other areas and then just pray the offense could do enough. What ends up happening? Sure enough, as sure as my hairline receded 3 inches for every year Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame, Notre Dame's defense goes into these games, tries their best to hold up, does so for a while, but eventually they get worn out and worn down because the Notre Dame offense cannot do anything. It is a 3-and-out factory, and the defense is out there for 88% of the game, hanging on for dear life. That's what ended up happening in all these moments I referenced. 14 points against Ohio State in 23, it ain't enough. 10 points against Ohio State in 22, not enough. Go back to the BK playoff teams. 14 against Bama, not enough. 20-3 against Clemson. Check yourself, bro. Georgia, those two games. 17, it's not enough. These are all big game moments against real athletes on defense where Notre Dame's defense tried to hang on, but they couldn't do it all alone, man. They couldn't do it all alone. And some of those games, it doesn't even look like the defense did a great job. But, I mean, they were holding on for dear life. They can't be out there the whole game. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the modern feel of everything around Notre Dame. I've been writing about how modern it is. Like, your celebrity ambassador for Notre Dame football is a stand-up roast comedian, you guys. Like, if that didn't show you things are changing in Notre Dame, they welcome a roasting comedian with open arms. We talk all this stuff about how much is changing on the field, off the field, the Freeman vibe, whatever, Bavacqua, all this new stuff changing. I need this aspect of Notre Dame in these biggest of the big game moments to change too from now on. I need the Notre Dame offense in these moments to be a part of the solution, not be a problem. What did Notre Dame average? Just under 39 points a game, second in the country this year. Pretty close to that last year as well. I realize, listen, some of you are going to say, well, John, I mean, geez, you're talking about you're playing the best teams on the schedule. Obviously, it's going to be harder to score points. I understand that, man. But you should be able to score more than 10 against Ohio State. Even with the new quarterback in Buckner, you got to figure out how to score more than 10 points, bro. I know their defense was good, but 10, come on, man. 14 last year, it's just not enough. It's not enough to win these big games. I need Notre Dame's offense start carrying their weight in these type of ball games in these moments, starting with Georgia. You need to do better than 3 and 10 and 14 and 17 in these moments to create a little bit of a cushion and not leave your defense out to dry. You leave them hanging. It ain't fair to them. Notre Dame's defense deserves an offense that supports it against the really good teams, man. They deserve that. That's a full team effort. I'm done going in these games saying, man, the defense pretty much needs to not give up a touchdown. You need a blocked punt, and then you just pray the offense can score a couple times. That's weak. That's weak. I want Notre Dame's defenses to start being rewarded from their effort with big time, top-notch, top-level, elite status gaining wins. To do that, the offense is going to have to start carrying their weight, man. They're going to, they just, in those moments, I need it. We're modernizing everything. You got to modernize that. Imagine what Notre Dame could do with our defense, the way it has been over a lot of years, even in the Kelly era through now. Imagine what Notre Dame could do with that defense and an offense that scores enough, like a reasonable amount of points against these really good teams. Imagine where Notre Dame's at in the pantheon of college football. Look at how high Notre Dame's reached with what I consider nowhere near good enough offense in any of these moments. And still look at the status Notre Dame's reached. Imagine what you could do if you felt as good on both sides of the ball as you do about the defense. And I know it's like, man, John, you're really asking for a lot. Dude, we're not used to it, but believe it or not, it is a real thing that you could actually have both sides of the team be awesome in big game mode. It is real. I've seen teams do it before where they feel good about the offense in big game moments and the defense. I've seen it. It could happen. It just hasn't for us, but it can happen. We have gotten so used to saying the defense has to win us these games somehow, some way. I truly think you're getting to the point where you're going to need balance to succeed in these moments, especially in a four-game playoff era. And that's what Notre Dame's in now if they want to win another championship. It isn't finding one good matchup, play your good defense in one bowl game, you could do enough. For Notre Dame to run through 4 games and win them all to reach our next championship, you're going to need that offense to look and feel just as good as that defense at some point to navigate all that, I think. Maybe you disagree. And I'm not saying you're playing Georgia, I expect the offense score 40. But could you get to like 28, even 27? Like get somewhere to where it doesn't feel like every other aspect of the team has to play perfect for you to win. Denbrock, Leonard, the O-line, I love whatever. I just Faison, he seems to be the go-to guy that makes things happen in the pass game anywhere, like downfield for us is Whatever, man. Whatever it is, dial it up, Denbrock. Like, it is just past time that this offense does enough in these big game moments to get us over the hump. Free that defense up. Let them catch a breather. Make them feel like they don't have to be perfect to win the game for you. For way, way, way too long, that has been the recipe, is everybody else has to play lights out to cover and carry that offense's weight. I want that to be over. I want that to be over. And I don't know. Maybe this defense can rattle Georgia's young, inexperienced quarterback and you can win the old way or whatever, but I'll feel a lot better if you can run the ball and look like a normal offense against Georgia. Man, I know Georgia has a ton of talent, but I mean, they lost a couple games, lost a couple, 8 overtimes against Georgia Tech, allowed 220-something rushing yards to UMass. I respect Kirby. I respect the talent and the recruiting. This team is not perfect, man. Run on them. Run on them. Do some things. I don't think that's too much to ask for this matchup. So, listen, it makes sense that one side of your team is, better than another. They're not always going to carry equal weight or whatever. I'm just saying it's been so slanted to Notre Dame's defense having to do everything. It's time for that to balance out to where you don't feel like you're entering these type of playoff atmosphere games and feel like the defense is, or the offense is a negative. Even if it's just a little bit of on the plus side, it just can't be the one thing that's holding you back. And I know it's like a team thing. We win together, we lose together, whatever, man. If I'm a defense player on a lot of these Notre Dame teams, I'm pissed off because I'm trying to do all I can and the offense doesn't do their part ever. So if we're modernizing everything, and that's what we're doing under Freeman, and that's everything, fine, I'm with you. This needs to be number one, top of the list. This needs to be number one, top of the list then, if that's what we're doing, is all this modernization. And so, I don't know the realities of this Georgia matchup. It's a little hard for me to get a feel on Georgia with some of the vulnerabilities, the new quarterback. They have pedigree with Kirby. They're going to be prepared because of him, and he's been there, done that. The roster has talent. But, man, they look vulnerable sometimes. So, listen, I'm not trying to just be a complainer here about whatever. Notre Dame right now is number 2 in scoring average in the country. I'm just saying I need to see it in these big game moments to make me feel like Notre Dame can run the gauntlet in a 14 tournament all the way to the championship. You're going to need more balance than we are used to having in these moments. And if you do that and you succeed, we'll drink to that. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to check out the merchandise. The link is in the description. You can browse and carouse all the different Always Irish gear. Make sure you head over there and get something for the next tailgate. Thanks for being here.